Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is an exciting and often epic VR shooter that brings the thrilling set pieces of World War II to VR, but it suffers from some key problems as well. Let's dig in. Medal of Honor has always been about war, obviously, most notably World War II, but even beyond that, it's a franchise that's often at war with itself. It's been over 8 years since the last Medal of Honor game, and that's for good reason. Warfighter was just not very good. Now Above and Beyond is here to try and put the series back on the map. Packing a 10+ hour campaign full of thrilling set pieces, iconic locations, and glorious attention to detail, it does get a lot right. It doesn't take long to realize why it requires nearly 200 gigs of space on your PC after a full installation. But then on the other hand, it's abundantly clear that this is Respawn's first VR game. From ugly floating rectangle menus, frequent tedious load screens, and an utter lack of cohesiveness, it comes off as more of a montage of moments in an actual narrative. The entire game is essentially made up of loosely connected scenes that are each bookended by often lengthy load screens marked by a fade to black and then an awkward victory poster with a little jingle sound effect. Those posters are awkward and they make no sense after things like cutscenes. The entire game is like this. You act out short bursts of content, wait for it to load, and are then transported somewhere else. As the game goes on, the level segments do tend to get a little bit longer and more complex, but the problem is still there. It's honestly frustrating because at times Medal of Honor Above and Beyond exhibits an unrivaled mastery of delivering hyper-concentrated moments of sheer excitement in a way that only a massive AAA game of this caliber can do. Clearly the talent is here, just not the execution. For example, I absolutely loved the pump-action combat shotgun. Respawn struck an excellent balance between accessibility and realism with most of the weapons, and the shotgun is a great example. The same goes for most of the other weapons as well. Everything is carefully considered in this way for the right balance between realistic immersion and streamlined accessibility, which makes the dissonance in its pacing and segmentation all the more confounding. Comfort options in Medal of Honor Above and Beyond are actually quite extensive for the most part. Not only can you adjust your snap rotation speed, but there is also a seated mode too, as well as the ability to turn on or off screen shaking effects. There does not seem to be a teleport option or a smooth turning option, surprisingly, at the time of this video, but I played mostly on Quest 2 using virtual desktop, so I was actually fully wireless, and I just turned my body physically. If you are physically able, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond really does soar as an active VR game. It's not technically a cover shooter, but it can be played like one, so that makes the firefights a lot more intense. I do wish the NPC AI was more consistent though. Sometimes my allies would literally just stand there in the open field, get shot without moving, and look stupid. Occasionally enemies would just stand up, pause, and then start shooting at me randomly. But then you'd have other times where they're relentlessly lasering me from a distance and I can't do anything. It was kind of frustrating. The bright side of so many load screens chunking the game up into several pieces is that each and every scene is really unique. I don't think very many assets are ever reused, if at all, and many of the levels feel and look really open and wide and fresh. The attention to detail is astounding, and it's a genuinely great looking game, especially inside the headset. This video doesn't really do it justice. Multiplayer in Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is extremely fun, and it might actually be my new favorite VR shooter in terms of pure online fun. The reasoning here is that it has a lot of the same excellent gun mechanics from the campaign, but since you're playing online, it totally sidesteps all those concerns about the pacing and the tone and the load times. There just aren't any load screens once a match starts. You might have to respawn, pun intended, whereas in the campaign I'd often feel a sense of dissonance between the source material and the semi-slapstick tone. It's a shame that there's not more depth to the online mode though. There are no progression mechanics in place, and other than unlocking character skins in the campaign, you don't really earn anything for your time. Gun variety leaves a bit to be desired as well. Of the 8 weapons, 2 are basically the same gun, just one has a scope on it. Both of the SMGs feel very similar. The lever action rifle and the M1 Garand seem really similar to me too. Game modes are bare bones too, with only 5 different modes, 4 of which are just variations off a team deathmatch. And then Blast Radius is probably my favorite. It awards bonus points for getting kills inside of a circle with a grenade launcher that spawns in. It's basically deathmatch though. There's also domination. The maps, on the other hand, are actually quite superb. All 10 feel distinct and unique with some really impressive environmental effects like the thin fog on the snowy train crash level or the detailed debris surrounding the crashed plane at the church level. Above all else, though, multiplayer is just a blast to play. I only got to try it out for a few matches across a couple of days pre-release before doing the review, and luckily you can also queue up solo and just play with bots or invite friends into a private party to play co-op against bots or smaller team sizes. Admittedly, the AI is not bright whenever you do it this way, but it's better than no bots at all. While crossplay is active between Steam and Oculus Home on the two storefronts, you cannot invite people across storefronts into your party from the other platform. You have to have your personal party is only the platform you're using, and then in the lobbies and the public lobbies you can run into people from other platforms. The final two pieces of the Medal of Honor VR puzzle is the gallery, which is a real-life footage archive that's full of hyper-detailed, realistic interviews and other footage, and then there's the survival mode. The gallery is one of the best and most authentic digital resources of information regarding World War II that I have seen. Honestly, they probably should have or could have spun that off into a free educational resource for schools and non-gamers to access, because locking it behind a paywall for a not exactly realistic shooter is a bit of a shame. There's multiple hours worth of great content there. Survival is exactly what it sounds like. You'll fight off waves of Nazis as they pour into maps and force you to defend yourself. It's very basic, but at least it gives you a quick and simple way to dive directly into combat without having to plot through a storyline first. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond can be both frustrating and captivating at the exact same time. Underneath it all, there is a fun and engaging VR shooter that nails several facets of being a successful AAA game. It's not quite enough to solidify the experience as a must-play title, but there are plenty of bright spots. If you're eager to dive into a VR version of World War II with exciting set-piece moments, then you should come away satisfied. But if you're looking for an immersive narrative wrapped up in a cutting-edge evolution of VR game design with expert pacing, maybe don't hold your breath. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond releases December 11th for PC VR on the Oculus Home PC Store and Steam VR with support for Rift, Quest, Vive, and Index at a price of $59.99 on both storefronts. For more Medal of Honor, check out these other videos and visit UploadVR.com for plenty of coverage and analysis. Thanks for watching!